Within Magic the Gathering, Celestine the Living Saint is a 5-mana, 3/4 legendary human warrior. She has lifelink and flying. At the beginning of your end step, you can resurrect one creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with a converted mana cost or mana value equal to the life you've gained this turn. It's a powerful and unique ability in the command zone, and I'm a big fan of Celestine as a card. But some people are looking at this art and asking, why could she not be an angel? A creature type that in Magic is very, very popular. It's one of the sort of casually popular creature types in Commander. Often mythic and rare angels would demand a bit of a price tag simply for being angel. And to be fair to them, both mechanically and visually, she looks like an angel. And even canonically, and within the extended lore of Warhammer 40,000, she actually could have been an angel. That's what I'm going to argue in today's video. This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, so you're looking to pick up sealed product or singles. I like the Warhammer Magic the Gathering decks. Use the link in the description below, the code KENOBI at checkout to get 5% off your order. Celestine is the living saint, the only one of the saints of the Adeptus Sororitas, the holy warriors of the Imperium's ecclesiarchy, who's still alive and walking the battlefields of the 41st millennium. Although a few of those words are a little bit iffy. She doesn't really walk, she more soars on angelic wings. And is she alive? Well, I guess there's a semantic argument there that you can't really be alive if you've died at some point. Maybe even a philosophical question. What about souls and shit? I won't go into that. Celestine was once a lowly sister of the Order of the Martyred Lady, cast into the ranks of the Repentia. Sisters who have failed to follow the strict religious regimen of their order, they're stripped of their armour and their bolter and sent into combat with a large chainsword to show their religious fervour to the God Emperor. If they survive and prove themselves, they have repented. That's hence the name Repentia. They may one day return to normal or even higher duties within the rest of their order. Celestine and her fellow Repentia were unleashed on an assault upon the heretics of the Palatine sector. The story goes that she had slain hundreds of non-believers and traitors to the Imperium before falling in battle. When her body was recovered though, and cleaned, she was found to be still alive and miraculously unharmed. There was not a mark upon her. What I like about this element of her backstory is that it could just be that she was a liar and a coward. Like, she killed a fuckload of people and then was like, I can't be bothered. Maybe she collapsed out of exhaustion, perhaps, yeah? I guess fervour and religious fanaticism will only carry you so far. And then when she woke up on a table being like dressed for burial with no wounds, and they were like, oh, you're not wounded. He was like, oh, shit, yeah, it's a miracle. She was allowed to continue fighting, and having been miraculously healed by the God Emperor himself, she was heralded as a sacred and miraculous figurehead for the rest of the campaign. A little while later, she finds a hidden crypt on the world of Santus Lys, where the former living saint, Saint Catherine, had left her war gear prior to her death. Celestine emerges from this crypt with the golden suit of armour that Catherine once wore and the ardent blade. So now she might have fibbed her way to being a figurehead of the order, and now we're celebrating her robbing a tomb. Fucking wild. And celebrate her they did, as she was declared the living saint, much like Catherine was in her lifetime, and she went on to wreck the Palatine cluster in a crusade, just fucking people up. She was, however, eventually defeated, falling in battle to the War Master of Thorax, who blew up his own fortress to take the attackers with him, and although no body was recovered, there was like a nuclear explosion, so she was considered incinerated. Centuries later, and Celestine begins showing up across the Imperium of Man, fighting wars alongside the Ebon Chalice, the Bloody Rose, the Order of our Martyred Lady, and the Salamanders and the Ultramarine. Most importantly though, she miraculously intervened with the Battle of Cadia, appearing like an angelic spectre sent from above to smite and destroy demons and support those that follow the word of the God Emperor. So the important point here is that Celestine was once a human. She was definitely human at one point or another. Then she went on to be a saint, a living embodiment of the faith of the Sororitas. It could also be argued that she is beyond human now though. She's hundreds of years old at this point. She miraculously appears to support those that are aligned to her cause, and she does so with literal angelic wings. Stories tell of her having literal angel wings granted to her by her faith. Just the model on the card art shows a technological sort of substitute, albeit a different one to those used by the actual jump troops of the Sororitas. So in short, originally a human, but much later her faith gives her angelic wings and powers. In 40k, demons are warp entities, and they can manifest themselves at different points in time and space, or take over other bodies through possession, and things like that. Or sometimes people who give themselves over to the warp, human beings who give in to the ruinous powers, they become demonic entities. They are bestowed with the gifts of chaos. They become literal demon princes of chaos. And the demon primarchs themselves, at one point or another, were human or primarch, I guess, like a advanced version of a human. and then they became demons. Well, actually, there's an argument that they might have been warp entities that were then put into bodies by technology, but that's kind of up in the air, really. My point is that both of these things eventually transform into demonic entities. They take on the properties of being a demon. And that's why I posit that Celestine is a similar thing. She may not be a demon, for the ecclesiarchy and the cult of the God Emperor would never use the word demon because that would be heresy, but it's very clear that she is beyond her original form if she just keeps coming back and won't fucking die. She's a human that was so devout in her attachment to the imperial dogma and the protection of the God Emperor of mankind that his powers bestowed upon her superhuman abilities, the ability to resurrect the dead and heal the sick, the ability to inspire, and the ability to even have fucking wings and fly. It is not dissimilar to the manifestation of the chaos magics that we see on demon princes within 40k. So what is the opposite of the word demon when talking about like warp entity, or a warp entity manifesting through a physical mortal body? Well, it's obviously angel, right? Like that's obviously the semantic opposite, or the definitive opposite of demon in terms of like terminology. Angels in Magic tend to be magical beings, constructs created by powerful mages. We see this with Sorin and his creation of Avacyn on Innistrad, and Avacyn in many ways has similarities to Celestine or even the Emperor, a figurehead of revered protector, a leader of a church whose magic is faith-based and based upon them. I guess Avacyn sits somewhere between the Emperor and Celestine in terms of how she is connected to the Church of Avacyn, if we're going to make parallels. So ultimately I think Angel would have been a flavorful and thematic fit. I'm not mad that it's human, I'm going to talk more about that in a moment, but I think Angel would have been a good fit. In 40k, many things use the title of Angel. The Space Marines themselves have a colloquialism, the Angels of Death, which is that they are the Emperor's angels, the Emperor's protectors, because they are his soldiers that he created, much in the way that Sorin created Avacyn, for example. And they use the visage of one, the sanguinary guard of the Blood Angels, or Sanguinius himself, the Primarch, from which the Blood Angel Sanguinary Guard take their visual cues from. They pay homage to their genetic forefather Sanguinius, but all of these things aren't angels. They have, Sanguinius literally had wings as part of his mutation, and the Sanguinary Guard have like decorative wings as part of their jump packs, but they don't have the powers of angels. Although Sanguinius had powers, he had foresight and the ability to see the future, but it's not an angelic thing necessarily. Meanwhile, Celestine and the Sanguinor are two characters in 40k that I think would be the ones that do fit the angel creature type. Sanguinor is another one of these warp entities with a similar shtick to Celestine. He appears when needed, and then disappears back into the warp from once he came once the battle is over. But remember, neither of these people are demons, because that would be heresy. If the Sanguinor got a card next time we end up in 40k, if we get more Blood Angels, which with the rumours being that the Sanguinor will get a new model and that Blood Angels are the next like poster boy faction for 40k going into 10th, that's a good possibility. If that is the case, I would argue Angel fits, but I think the Sanguinor would probably get the Avatar sort of like creature type, because he's kind of like an avatar of Sanguinius' Force Ghost, if you will. Ultimately, I don't hate Celestine being a human. It even helps to protect her alongside the troops she would inspire and protect, you know, thematically with protection spells like this one that are in the 40k deck. So thematically, it actually fits better. And mechanically, it makes more sense with other game pieces within the deck to emulate what Celestine would do on the battlefield and in the lore. But I wouldn't have hated Angel either. That's it. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you think she should have been an angel? Are you upset that she wasn't? It's not really a big thing to be mad about, but some people do really love their angels for reasons that I don't quite understand. Smash that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.